Over Darren, as we did expect, and immediately off the stage is promoter Eddie Hearn. Eddie, I just said to Darren there, pretty much went as expected there today.
Yeah, it's probably the shortest head-to-head we've ever seen. You know, I wanted to bring it back together. Might not have been a good idea, but we move on to Manchester. And, you know, I think Josh was trying to keep his cool throughout and didn't towards the end. And that's just what the fight means. And I think I often talk about bringing two guys together who are about to fight in one of the biggest fights in boxing, one of the biggest fights in British boxing history, with this kind of hatred. You're going to see that, you know, and you can try and keep as calm as you like, but with 2 years of personal attacks from fans and both sides, this is just what's on the line, and it's, you know, it's going to spill over.
Are you surprised? We heard Sam say it a couple of times there. Are you surprised it's taken 2 years for this fight to happen?
Because I've seen it before when there is that much hate between teams. And listen, I've come late to the party, but I've seen it firsthand. Scott Quigg against Carl Frampton was probably the closest that I saw to this kind of feeling, where, you know, you had Joe Gallagher, you had Shane McGuigan, now you've got Sam Jones, you've got, you know, Top Rank, you've got us, you've got Josh, you've got Jack. And I just feel like probably at some point Josh just went, I can't be bothered with this, I'm not giving him the shot. You know, I was the champion, I won the fight, everyone says how controversial it was, I don't care, I'm moving on. Whereas really this fight should have happened instantly, because it was so big, and it's still going to be so big. April 27, Leeds is going to be packed. You know, the whole country is going to be watching this fight. The build-up's going to be epic, and you know, we just need to stay a little bit calm.
How important was it for you, Eddie, to get this fight, not just on DAZN, but to stage it in the UK as well?
Massive, because there's a lot of talk at the moment about these mega fights going to the Middle East. Saudi Arabia are doing an incredible job of delivering the fights that sometimes we're not getting to see. But we have to make sure that the big all-British fights happen in this country. And this was just a great example of a fight that everybody else wanted to do pay-per-view. DAZN stepped up and said, no, it's part of your subscription. That's massive for us, that's massive for DAZN. But it's massive for British boxing, because this has got an old-school feel to it. You know, the multi-city press tours, you know, the noise, the crowd. This is Frampton Quigg, this is Hay Bellew, this is Froch Groves. This is all of those kind of rivalries. And that's what made British boxing what it is. And to deliver this, April 27th, was a big coup for us. And I'm pleased that both guys get the opportunity.
The fight itself, just asking you, who do you think goes into this rematch favourite?
I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? You know, Jack's coming off 2 wins. Look good. Josh Taylor's coming off a defeat, albeit to Teofimo Lopez. You know, there is a suggestion that Josh might be coming towards the end of his career. But you know he's going to be up for this fight. Like, if you can't get up for this fight, you're not going to get up for a fight. And after today, after everything that's happened over the years, the best Josh Taylor will be there in Leeds on April 27. And I know the best Jack Catterall is going to be there, because this is must-win for both. This is not the Undisputed Championship. This is career-defining. This could be career-ending for the loser of this fight. It really could.
Well, you represent Jack Catterall, Eddie. When you look at the rankings, ranked at a minimum of number 6 across the board, all 4 governing bodies, how big a risk is this to his world title dreams, this fight?
It's everything you want, isn't it? Like, as a fighter, you know, you look back at those fights, for everything that you could achieve, the great British grudge matches, the rivalries, you know, look at Darren, won a world title, boxed Sergio Martinez, boxed Felix Sturm. The Macklin fight was one that probably now you go,
I would have loved one.
That would have been a great fight. And now we get it, and we get a massive one. Massive. Like, after today, after tomorrow, after the build-up, trust me, this fight is going to be huge on April 27. When that first bell goes, the anticipation from the 12,000 in Leeds, from the millions watching around the world, this is what we want, and this is putting British boxing back on the map.
Expecting much of the same tomorrow in Manchester?
Yeah, listen, I'm sure we'll get a phone call from the British Boxing Board of Control. And listen, rightfully so, we don't want 2 guys, listen, there was a couple of pushes and shoving, nothing major. We don't want these guys attacking each other. And unfortunately, because of the relationship, because of the history, they will attack each other. So tomorrow we just got to be a little bit smarter. But you still want that moment, right? You know, it's easy for a governing body to come in and say, oh, you know, let's keep them apart. Let's be honest. This is the fight game. Yeah, this is prize fighting. We want it. I want people to look into the blues or browns of each other's eyes, otherwise known as the whites of the eyes, and just show me how much you want it. Hate runs deep. Show me the hate. Give them a build-up. This is going to put British boxing back on the map. Can't wait. Wednesday, Matchroom, Fight Pass, pre-sale. Friday, general sale. This is going to go fast. Jack Catterall's bringing about 4,000 already from Chorley. He had a huge turnout here today. A lot of travelling Scottish fans, and of course, the general fan as well. You know, the boxing fan will want to be at this fight. Be ready.
Where do you position this fight, Eddie? Because I know we're going to try and grab a word with either side of the main event. I'm not sure where they've slipped off to. I think we might get Josh in a moment. But since the DAZN deal in the UK, where do you position this fight?
This is exactly the kind of... When we made this move, we made it for many reasons. But one of the reasons was we felt the pressure to do too many pay-per-view fights. We wanted to bring pay-per-view fights as part of your DAZN subscription. What DAZN are offering right now is unrivaled globally. Right, we just come from a tremendous show in Oaxaca. This weekend we're in Orlando for Belanga McCrory. Coming up, we've got Joshua Ngannou, you've got Fury Usyk happening, you've got Devin Haney against Ryan Garcia. Like the fights are endless. Dalton Smith against Zepeda, Jordan Gill against Zelfa Barrett. Like, it's every single week. But you need the big pay-per-view fights as part of your subscription. And, you know, it's taken a time. We've had a lot of fights slip by the wayside. Joshua against White, Ben against Eubank. Yep. But now we've got Taylor Catterall, and that's a great example.
And for you as well, I think, as a promoter, you want these fights, didn't you, to keep the juices flowing?
The pressure's there because, you know, we talk about the growth of boxing in the Middle East. Every fighter wants to make as much money as possible. Yeah. You can't not embrace that investment from Saudi Arabia to make fights. And we're seeing fights that we wouldn't see if the only option was the UK. But we've got to make sure that our bread and butter, i.e. the British fight fans, get value for money, get the fights you want to see. And as I said, this has all the feelings of Frampton Quigg, of Frochgroves, of Hay Bellew. And it's a buzz. You know, when you threw to me earlier, I was a little bit nervous. You're probably look at me going, don't be ridiculous. You are, there's no one like you, Eddie. You can't be nervous.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I was. And that's because I'm pumped. I'm pumped for this fight. Yeah. And if I'm pumped for this fight, where's the camera? I know you're pumped for this fight. I know everyone in here is pumped for the fight, and everyone in Manchester tomorrow is going to be pumped for this fight.
Someone else who's pumped for this fight is standing there, waiting to come in.